And starting in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at. And yeah, welcome to another webinar hosted by myself on behalf of AimFox. And as for with the previous ones, we're going to give people some time to join, to hop on. If you're here, if you can hear me, if the audio is good, if the visual is good, to drop a comment. So I know I'm not talking to an empty crowd. There we go. Awesome. All right, we have first people coming in. Hey, Morgan. Olivier, Derek, awesome. Awesome to see everybody here. And yeah, so today, last week we had a very interesting discussion announcement with regarding our Smart Lead integration. The week before that, it was with the Instantly integration. And this week, we also have a very interesting topic that we are going to be discussing. And it's a topic that I'm personally very interested in, and I kind of have mixed feelings about, and it's going to be commenting on LinkedIn or using AI comments as an acquisition channel. So with us today, as our guest of honor, we have Oleg from Extrovert. And by the way, Extrovert is a AI commenting, LinkedIn commenting tool that does some amazing things. And I've been looking at the tool basically from its early days, and I've seen it evolve so much. So Oleg, welcome to the webinar.
My pleasure, Alex. Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot for everybody who joined. And yeah, this is super exciting and controversial topics. And I am working on this topic for almost 2 years now, maybe even a little bit more than 2 years, building in the space. I've seen a lot of things. So would be happy to talk, would be happy to chat with Alex today and discover, maybe share some strategies that we use for ourselves and our users use for themselves, how to
Yep.
comment on LinkedIn, how you can benefit from it, how not to sound like a bot, how to actually,
That's going to be the big question, right?
yeah,
Because I told you like before we scheduled this webinar, I told you that I am going to be asking the hard questions, right? Because like one of the main issues that I see with AI commenting is that honestly, I can tell them apart. Like,
yeah,
on my posts, on other posts, I can always spot them, or at least I think I can, or at
yeah.
least there are some that I can spot. Maybe there are others that I cannot. But there are I have a lot of opinions on this topic. So I really do think that this is going to be a very interesting discussion.
For sure, for sure. And we all, of course, we want to make the interaction positive. So when we comment, when we do something on LinkedIn, we want it to be, positive for the lead, for us, for everybody. And if it's negative, it doesn't make sense, right? So that's the whole point, how
Right,
to make it,
right, right. And
authentic.
people are going to be like very touchy for this because it's their personal brand, it's their personal reputation in a lot of these cases. So it's a hard topic. So before we dive into everything, for everybody who has joined, there is going to be a special surprise or a special gift from Oleg at the end of this webinar. And if you want to give Extrovert a try and see how it goes. And then for those of you that also hang in until the end that are not using AimFox, we're also going to be giving something special to those of you there. So yeah, basically the first thing that, I would like to kick this conversation off with is, what are some of the use cases that this makes sense for? So for like AI comments, like what are the use cases that you've seen successful? Tell us a little bit more about different types of comments and how to use comments in general to basically get more impressions, get more reach. Because I know, I've seen some crazy react impressions on some comments, and yeah, just tell us how to use this.
Yeah, that's a good question. And if you excuse me, I would maybe make just a little bit one step back and to say two things. So the first thing is that I think commenting is crazy underplayed scenario for LinkedIn, and it's crazy underused. And I will just give you one example. For ourselves, for our own GTM, we were scraping, we were finding people who comment consistently on LinkedIn. So our idea was like, let's find founders who, well, founders of tech companies who posted themselves and who posted at least 10 comments per week. Can you guess how many people of who post consistently, like several times per week, at least once per week, do comment on other people's posts at least 10 times per week? It's less, it's like 2 comments per day. Like how many percent?
I'm guessing it's going to be very, very little, right?
It
Probably,
was 4.1%.
probably. Yeah, I was going to say
4.1%.
single digit. I was going to say single
Yeah.
digit percentage. And like, I see that. Like, like I know, like for myself, like I always feel like, well, all of us, you said like founders, right? Or tech companies. We all do a lot of things in the day. And I think like if we want to actually spend time, I mean, I'm already like putting enough time to do a post on LinkedIn. But then like if I have to like also spend time going through other people's posts and leaving comments, I just don't have the time for it, and that's one of the things I know Extrovert helps with. It speeds up the whole commenting pipeline.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I think that it is very underutilized. And the other thing I wanted to address is the mere name, the AI comments, because people it is kind of the umbrella name that people use for everything. And I think it has a very bad rep, to be honest, because usually people say AI comments, which is, crappy comments, which is comments that you can tell apart, which doesn't have any personality, which just chew on the post content, which doesn't give you
Yeah.
anything other than just rephrase the post and it looks bad, it has M dashes and things like that. So I think the main issue with that is not that you are using AI, like AI assisted something, right? AI assisted comment, but that it's fully automated. And the reason why it is so bad, because just it's very simple. Like if you automate the process, and if your process is super simple, like there are tons of tools who do this, like you just specify list of accounts, and they just
Mm,
go and auto comment on every post. You don't have any judgment. Like, do you want to react to this post? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Maybe if the person posts once per day, do you want to react to all the posts? Probably not. Maybe you want to be like a real person and react to what matters to you. And the other thing is like what you say. If you just rephrase the post, it's kind of,
mm.
even if you do it manually,
Yeah,
like a lot of
those are the comments that we can all tell apart, right?
yeah,
Like when we
yeah,
see like a chunk of text being like just like rephrasing what I said and like and giving a positive sentiment. But
yeah,
like so what you're saying is that like AI is good, but not like to fully automate it and never look at it. You're looking at it more as like an assistant or like a
yeah,
co-pilot that like helps you in writing the posts. But like, would you mind like telling us a little bit more about like the technology like under the hood? Like, what actually happens like under the hood when somebody using like Extrovert or a similar tool for commenting, like, like what's happening there?
yeah, yeah. So there are tons of different approaches. We are very bullish on suggestion-based approach. So nothing is posted without your approval. It's just giving you the feed and suggestions.
Hmm.
And the idea there is to minimize the time spent. So you are in the loop. You are always in control. You see what's going out. You kind of approving it, rejecting it, things like that. But the idea is to make this process, instead of like spending 2 hours, you spend 15 minutes. And how we do this, two things. So the first thing is to show you exactly posts that you need to see right now. Because if you just scroll the feed, LinkedIn tries to keep you in the feed. It's as a social network, it's optimized for time spent. It's not optimized for your goals, for your playbook that you want to run. And the other thing is just to give you the draft that would be 80% there. And how we can do this
Mhm.
is we can basically put as much information about you as possible. So now we put a lot of information about your style. So examples of comments that you previously wrote, your style instructions, and a lot of information that we call context. Context about yourself, context about your company, and the thing that we call insights, which is basically your distilled points of use, your
Mhm.
hot takes, your industry observations, anything that you would normally use as content pillars in your maybe posting app or in your ChatGPT or Claude project where you work with content, like your actual takes go into
Okay.
Extrovert, and that's why the drafts are, decent.
And tell me, so how does like as somebody who obviously with AimFox, like you pick a target audience based on like different targeting criteria. It can be people who engaged in the post, but it can also be a sales navigator campaign. It can be a custom list that you import into AimFox. It can be groups, events, a lot of different sources for leads, right? So how, like when you're doing commenting, like how do you identify the targeting aspect? Because like I don't want to spend time just going through the feed. Like maybe I am doing a lot of cold emailing, and I just want to use a list of LinkedIn URLs that I have from my list that I got, for example, from Apollo, and I want to engage with posts from those people. So do you like is that like a legit use case that for example you support?
Yeah, for sure. And here I want to say that it's a very important topic. Like, why do you even comment? Like, it's crazy, to think about it. But a lot of people just don't think about it very deeply, and they just pursue comments as a fun activity. When in the evening you scroll LinkedIn, you comment there, you comment there. But if you're intentional and you have an actual goal, an actual campaign that you run, an actual play in your playbook, the playbook is the list. So basically your question about the list, what is the targeting audience, is very much connected to the question is of what are we trying to achieve. And I can think about 5 use cases for comments, and they are very distinct, they are different, and you can run all 5 of them, you can run several of them. So those
Yeah.
use cases are the first one is for your for it's the most known use case is like big creators, and basically what you want to achieve from this use case is visibility. So you have a set of creators, preferably from your space, shouldn't be like very generic big accounts. I prefer it to be a little bit longer list, maybe 50 people, maybe 100 people, industry top voices, industry leader in your space. Like for me, it's GTM and sales. And you just go and you comment on their posts. And the reason you do this is to get visibility, because you're probably a lot of you guys had seen this. Now LinkedIn shows you impressions under your comments.
Yeah.
And more often than not, people tell that they get more impressions from their comments other than from their posts. So this is
Mhm.
basically a visibility play. It's like, it's like posting. It's supporting your outreach, and it also supporting your inbound lead generation, because your network
Mhm.
also sees these comments. So you don't only target the audience of the creator, you target your own network, because they see your comments
Yeah.
in the feed, and
You
it's
get visibility towards
yeah,
your existing audience.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So this is the first use case. And
Yeah.
in this use case, your audience would be curated list of creators in your space. And my suggestion for this list would be to not go for huge profiles with 100,000 followers, because it's easy to be buried in these 100 comments that will be there. My suggestion would be go for like smaller niche creators who actually post about value, maybe not so big, like 20 comments per post, and be very specific. So probably you shouldn't go for very broad topics like AI, or some personal growth or something
Yeah.
very broad. But the more specific, the better.
Okay.
And this is the first use case.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, before you get to the second use case, I wanted to say, people in the audience, like if you're, I see somebody in the comments, Belmin, there are users who are already using Extrovert and AimFox together. So like, if like you hang in, until we finish our discussion, it will be cool if we even like bring some of you on the live. So if you can turn your camera on and basically you can tell us a little bit more about your use case and how you combine the two. So yeah, so stay tuned for that, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end. But yeah, Alex, so okay, so that's the first. Keep going. Well, I'm
Yeah.
taking notes.
The second use case is what I call friendly creators, and this is basically to grow your own engagement on your own posts. It's like uh, I don't know, the down-to-earth word for this is tit for tat. So you basically just comment on somebody and they comment back on your posts. It doesn't have to be, like a WhatsApp group where you have a formal arrangement like a pod or something. I think that it doesn't work very well. I think what works better is just do it organically, but just keeping the list on your end. And
Okay.
because, for example, for me, I'm not a huge creator. I do have around, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 comments on my posts on average, but my list of friendly creators is more than 100 people. Those are people who commented at least once
Okay.
within the last month, and
Okay,
I want
sorry.
to
You
beat that.
so you triggered me with the engagement pods,
Yeah.
with that word. So I know that there are a lot of like pods or like WhatsApp groups and Slack groups where you have these big creators who just share the URLs to their posts, and they're like a react and comment, and they all do like they just all like support each other and get each other visibility. And and this can be good, but it can also be a trap, because a lot of these creators are actually charging clients or companies based on the impressions and the comments and the engagement that they get. But then, like, on the back end, a lot of that is fueled unorganically, right? So what is your
Yeah.
take on these engagement pods? Do they work, and how do they like reflect on like like, does it work? You know, is it
Yeah.
worth it?
To be honest, I'm not a big specialist. To be honest, was invited in a couple of ones. I tried like for several days. I didn't like it because it was too tedious for me. It was like too many links. It's super unorganized. It's on WhatsApp.
Yeah,
My initial understanding is that it doesn't work very well, and my hypothesis is why it doesn't is because it's a closed loop. So it is
yeah,
like maybe 50 people, 100 people that all are going in circles, commenting on each other, and it's very easy to detect from the LinkedIn
yeah,
side.
yeah,
So I think what works better if you just grow organically. And to do this, you don't need much. You just need to return the love. If people are supporting your posts, you can support their posts on
yeah,
in
yeah,
exchange.
yep. Just
There
keep
is
it
a
organic.
caveat.
Keep it organic. Yeah,
Yeah, keep it organic, but there is a caveat is that LinkedIn, for some reason, like many, I don't know why, they do it very hard to do so. Because if you just scroll your feed, you will never see those people. Well, sometimes you will, but it's very hard to do systematically. So what we can do with Extrovert is I have a list, I have a campaign with roughly 100 people who are my friendly creators. And I have set up my engagement frequency for 1 week. That means that no matter how often they can post once per day, they can post twice per week, doesn't matter. I will see their posts at least once per week. and I have the opportunity to comment on their post. I don't want to comment on every post. I don't want to comment every day, but I just return the favor. And if they return the favor, in exchange, they stay on my list. If they don't, they don't. And with many of those people, I don't have any, formal arrangements. I didn't even have DM conversations with them.
Mm.
It's just, how people, what people do on LinkedIn, they support each other. So
Mm.
it
Mm.
just makes it easier for you because you kind of have
Yeah.
the system behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Um, can you, so okay, so you talked about going after certain creators, but so like the use case, because we do multi-channel outreach, right? We
Yeah.
do emailing and we do LinkedIn. And basically what I do for my sales team is we send like a couple of thousand emails per day, and then whoever is interested in our offer, they get an automated connection request with a note and the message sequence, and we use LinkedIn to kind of push the deal closer to closing, right?
Yeah.
So, and one of the features that we don't do in AimFox is we don't give you the option to comment. And it's a feature that we are not going to be building because it just kind of like unaligns from how we see the product. But can you do from on your side? So if I understand correctly, you have a functionality where, a list of like interested replies from your emailing sequencer, you can set up through API, basically that you communicate those LinkedIn URLs and then target them and then use them as targets. Is that like a viable
Yeah.
use case? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the perfect use case, and actually, I wanted to name this exact use case as the next one. So this is the
Okay.
third use
Perfect.
case, which is the more like on the lead generating activity. So those two was on the visibility, grow your brand type of things.
Hmm.
So this one is specifically for outbound, and I would call it nurturing or following up or anything like that. So what happens after you get a reply? Because now, outbound is getting harder. It's not, it's something that everybody
Yeah.
know. And after you get a reply, people can ghost you like a lot of times. They can go dark. They can go, they can reply again. They can ghost you again. They
Yes.
can reply again. And it can happen multiple times after your sequence has finished. And just commenting is a good way to stand out without being pushy because you can follow up without being annoying. Only,
Yeah. You can stay top of mind. You can stay
you can
top
stay
of
top of
mind
mind. Yeah.
for those leads. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That
And
makes sense.
the play here is basically what you described. So you run a sequence in a sequencer in AimFox, and after that, if you have an interested lead, you just push them to Extrovert to a certain campaign. You can also play with different strategies with different timeframes, basically. So it all boils down to the how often do you want to touch them? How often do you want your touch
Yeah.
points to be? So if it is say a not now lead. So it's your ICP, it's the good lead, but they said, oh, not now. Maybe you want your touch points to be like once per month because you don't want to
Okay.
spend a lot of effort. You don't want to be super annoying, things like that. But if it's an active deal, for example, you are closing the deal and your cycle is long, you already had a demo. It will help you if you comment. If you comment not
Hmm.
just on your prospect, but maybe on their colleagues, that you are
Hmm.
multi-threading inside the account. So it's
So, and
the
one thing I see this combining well with is on AimFox, we give you the option to react to posts. So you can like find posts insightful or funny or like posts, right? And this is what you just said is exactly what I say for reactions to posts. It's a nice way, like a subtle way to stay in touch and just not let the lead go cold. And I see this going nicely hand in hand with that. So on that topic, like just being a little bit mindful of time, how do you see like what like I obviously here we have users using Extrovert, we have users using AimFox, and then we have users using both. How do you see both playing together and some use cases where you can just put the two together?
Yeah, so I see three use cases. So the first use case we actually just covered, and I would call it a nurturing use case where you have aimfox at the start, you reach out to people, you take the people who reply to you, and you nurture them with comments afterwards. This use case is strong because commenting activity is semi-manual. It's still not automated as I said, we are suggestion-based approach, so you still need to approve all the comments. So the upside of this approach is that you only spend effort on leads that are high value, that already replied to you. It's not a lot of them, and it does make sense to spend more time to close them. So this is the first one. The second one that I would mention is a warm-up. If you have a difficult market, if you have a small, limited total addressable market, if you sell into enterprise, if you have very high ACV, where like cold outreach is problematic, it needs to be supported by a kind of social selling activity. What you can do is you can comment for a while before you reach out, before you send the first message, before you send the connect request. You can be familiar face with commenting, like maybe for 2 weeks, maybe for 4 weeks, 6 weeks. You can experiment
So
with this.
nurture them before you send the connection request on NameFox to basically improve the chance of your connection request getting accepted, or when it's accepted, to improve your chance of getting a reply as they will all already be familiar with you. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's actually crazy effective for audiences that are active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We see like maybe from 2 to 5 times increase in acceptance rates and reply rates in certain cases. That it's crazy effective. And if you think about it, it's very why it works is because it's super easy to stand out in the comments. Like when you see the
Yeah.
post of the average executive, they have very low engagement.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have like one comment from their
And
team.
we all check our comments, right? Even if I have like 20, 30, 50 comments, I read all, like literally every comment on my posts.
Yeah,
If you're an active person on LinkedIn, you're going to be doing this. But like where this all this orchestration starts making sense is, you said it'll double your results. What I've seen, going a step back, what I've seen, like, people doing cold emailing, they get interested replies. And then literally, if you reach out to those interested replies, to those interested leads on LinkedIn after receiving an interested reply, you're going to double your overall success rate, close rate. And then if on top of that you even add comments into the equation, that multiplier just keeps on multiplying. So like I think like what I see in 2026 happening is really like these high-end teams and people doing sales just leveraging every touch point, every signal they can get. So, and it just all compounds and stacks on top of each other. And then you come to a point where you are closing deals, because like 2 years ago, you were just able to send a whole bunch of emails and you would get like, and they would hit straight in the primary inbox. And it was very easy. But now,
yeah,
like, that like, because I look at like emailing like top of funnel kind of, right? So that's like
yeah.
where you get the scale. And then like it goes down to LinkedIn, and then it goes down to commenting, and it just the funnel gets tighter and tighter. But the more you push down the funnel, the more you're going to close at the end. And this is where these multiple steps in between help.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I 100% agree, and I think it's a game of understanding where the volume plays a role, where you want to utilize some GTM play that can be scaled, like cold email, for example, or where precision plays a role, and you can. Move it from top to bottom of the funnel, and depending on your total addressable market. So, for example, if you are selling into enterprise, if your total addressable market is very small, it does make sense to warm up everybody. If you have a
Mhm.
huge total addressable market and you don't have any, problem getting new leads, probably doesn't make sense. And the Alex, what you just mentioned, putting cold email on top of your funnel does make more sense because you can do more volume.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
on the nurturing side of things, I wanted to say that we actually don't just do only comments. We also suggest DMs. We shipped this very not long ago. We shipped it in December. And the difference is it's not like the sequence, so it's super different approach from AimFox. The difference is that we suggest each individual DM based on your history, based on their posts, and based on your playbook. And it's a semi-manual process as well. So you do have it pre-written, but you need to approve each one of them. So it probably makes less sense if you use it with like outbound. It probably makes more sense just to use a sequence in your outbound. But when
Hmm.
you are following up, what it can do for you is it can bring you an automated system to follow up relentlessly until they buy. Because
Yeah.
when your sequence stopped, when you have already a positive reply, you still need to push this positive reply to the meeting. And even if you had the meeting with them, sometimes they ghost
Yeah.
after the meeting, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
you need to come up like with something to follow up again and again and again. And their posts is actually a goldmine for this because
Yeah.
what we do in Extrovert, what we just released a couple of months ago, is we listen to all their posts. When we show them to you, we read the posts with AI and we try to analyze if anything
Cool.
happened on their side that we can reference in our DM. For
Cool.
example, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say like one of the things that like I do for so like that I work on like structuring our sales team, right? And if there are people here from our sales team, they know how relentless I am about like follow-ups. So like when you get an interested lead, you've worked very, very hard to get it. You need to follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. When you get that signal. And there are only so many things you can do, right? Like you can call them, you can send them a follow-up email, you can send them a message on LinkedIn. And those are all like pretty invasive in a sense. But like what I do like about commenting is just like what we discussed, you stay top of mind, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like, by the way, for people in the audience, because I see people are sticking around, that nobody's leaving. If you have any questions you would like to ask, it can either be through the chat or you can raise your hand and you can turn your camera on, and I'll be open to just bringing some people on and just having a discussion. All right, we already have a raised hand. Oleg, are you good with throwing bringing some of the users in to ask
Yeah,
questions live?
sure. I would love that. I would love that. Let's do it.
Okay, awesome. Belmin, I'm just gonna ask you just to turn on your camera if possible.
Perfect. Just 1 second. I just don't know where to do that because I only have audio options.
Oh,
Um,
maybe you don't have the option. In that case, forget about it. Never mind. Blast away. We're here to help.
Perfect, perfect. So I've been using both tools together with Samahudi, my co-founder, and amazing tools, definitely. Oleg mentioned the second use case where we always warm up the list with Extrovert. We start commenting a week or two or three to be seen, to get on their radar because it increases the acceptance rate.
Nice.
Based on
And what
that,
kind of what kind
yeah,
of acceptance rates do you see? Like, just like percentage wise.
one of my best campaigns so far within AimFox is about 50%.
And this is you reaching out to cold out leads
Yeah,
that you have warmed up through commenting before.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So 54%, if I remember correctly, somewhere about 54, 55, which
yeah.
is quite impressive because the lists that I use usually build are around 1K.
Nice.
So 1K prospects. I tend to have bigger lists because the more you shoot, the more chance you have to score.
Yeah,
So we do warm them up. We do that for each of our clients because we offer our experience, our expertise as a service with using AFOX and Extrovert together.
nice, nice,
So
nice.
we warm them up. It increases definitely our acceptance rate and as well the messaging. We sometimes use like 10 or 20 messages from our Extrovert directly to see what kind of response it could be. The one with the best response, we automate it within AFOX as well. Or
Oh, that's a good use case as well. I like it. Cool.
Or what we do, we come up with a message that is kind of broad, but it's on point with a pattern interrupt. We don't pitch in the first message, never, because it doesn't work anymore, unfortunately. But we try to build up relationships. And if I know 100% that we have commented on someone's post, the message is quite easy. Hey, amazing post, man. How do you think
Yeah.
about XYZ? And we automate that part with AimFox to get more replies because we're not pitching, we're generally asking a question regarding their service, regarding their business, etc., which gives us a high reply rate. A high reply rate usually is above around 30% because
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
people tend to ghost, tend to not answer, etc. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So Oleg, like based on what you said like two times the results. So what we see usually in the cold outreach part, 55% for pure cold is very high. So like I usually we would see this number in 25 to 30%. So what you said is I can back it up with like with data. That does make sense, and in terms of reply rates, usually you're going to see like 15 to 20%. So this being 30%, like, to me, it does sound, obviously there are a lot of other things that go into the equation. But like from just like some dummy math, I think it definitely makes sense. Cool.
Yeah,
uh,
and I think it's the trick here is obviously it does work with differently with different markets. If you sell to tech people or salespeople or people who are active on LinkedIn, they are probably going to know all plays in the book. So they are probably going to try to, kind of evaluate what you're doing there because they're doing the same thing. So I think what's important here is to be as less transactional as possible. So try to leverage a signal as your lead source. Try to leverage comments. Try to leverage good copy. Try to leverage a smart, first reply, smart sequence. Use liking feature in AimFox to like their posts afterwards. Those kind of things.
Yeah.
So the less you follow into this, what people don't like pitch slap, a transaction, the better.
Yeah. Cool.
exactly.
Thank you.
Maybe,
Belmin, yeah, if you have something more, please feel free.
yeah, just one thing to mention as well. I get that a lot, Oleg. So people are analyzing what I do. They say like you automated this. I was like, yeah, that's what I've been waiting on. I wanted your reply, and this is how we start conversations. And they're like, okay, this
Yeah.
is cool. And
Yeah.
then we mentioned basically the whole process. I do have a question for both of you because we use both platforms. When
Yeah.
will there be an integration with both, where we, for example, if we warm up the list, and it automatically goes to a new outbound campaign with an AimFox? Really would love to see that. I bet everybody that is
Yeah.
using both.
I
But
will.
yeah,
So I'll give you some context there. Like one of the values that we get out of this webinar is hearing different use cases that are going to help us plan this out. So we've started discussing and seeing what the use cases are like in the background, and I think we'll be working on something in the near future. We don't have an exact timeline yet, but there will be something. There will be something soon, I hope. And yeah,
cool.
the goal of the integration is going to be to basically bounce leads between the two platforms and kind of make them work in tandem together.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure, for
just
sure.
sorry, just one last thing. I've been in touch also with Oleg and you, Alex. When people don't reply at a few messages on LinkedIn, even with commenting with messages, they're just ghosting you. Just cold call them. You have a hook on a cold call as well, like, hey, I messaged you, we connected, and your familiar
Yeah,
faces. So it's a warm call
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, my sales team hates cold calls, but I tell them it's not a cold call; it's a warm call. Like
Exactly.
they already saw you. So yeah, thank you, Belmin, very much for jumping on. By the way,
Appreciate
everybody,
it.
like if you have other questions, now is the time to ask. And I'll go ahead and pull up one of the questions we have. Now, this is going to be a question from Sonny. So Sonny is asking, do you have an RAG system that double checks the documentation before commenting anything to be compliant with the company policies? this is a question for you, Oleg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not exactly double checking the company policies, because usually our user what the main use case that we support is commenting from a personal profile. It works much better than from the company page, although we will ship the company page as well later this year. But the main use case now is personal profile. So it's not like I wouldn't say it's company policies. I would say it's your insights or your takes. So we do have a library of those things that you can import. And you can import from your posts, you can import from your materials, from your company website, from your personal LinkedIn profile. And it will be your ideas, your takes, your opinions. And yes, when you comment, when the comment is generated, when the draft is generated, it does make sure that the comment is aligned with your takes.
So I've seen a few comments saying that it's actually hard without the actual screen share of the tools and then we're just like talking about this stuff, and obviously we know our tools by heart. But yeah, I think the goal here was just like to discuss the concept in general, and then like everybody here, you are definitely open to like you should go and check out Extrovert, go for a demo of Extrovert. If you're not using AimFox, you should go for a demo of AimFox. We have a very detailed demo video on our website, on our YouTube channel, a lot of information about the tools, and we have a free trial. I think you have a free trial as well.
Yep.
On your site. So you should definitely try these tools out. There isn't a native integration yet. So this is something that's going to be worked on in the future. Yeah. Do you have links to the tools? Yes. Aimfox.com and extrovert.ai. If I'm not
GoExtrovert.com. GoExtrovert.com.
GoExtrovert.com. Okay, Andre
We
is
will
here
also
saying.
share some gifts for you guys after the webinar. So there would be the link for the trial and also some gifts for you. So
and we have one more question before we get to that. Yes, so a question from Aspen. AI is everywhere, and more people recognize AI generated content. I regularly see people calling out AI comments in my feed, and I think the vibe is quite negative towards content automation, at least in my market. How do you approach authenticity? Should AI skeptics be dismissed? This is actually how I opened up this whole webinar. So I think like, can you just like do Oleg a quick recap of that and just hit the nail on the head?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
I'm one of the skeptics.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, as you probably like all of us are working with AI tools all the time, and there are certain patterns that they do, every day. Like you are absolutely right. Who has who has heard this phrase like today, right? Probably all of us. Or it's not this, it's that, or some kind of other things. So this is very hard to get rid of. What we do on our end, we do use fine-tuned model for this. So we don't use off-the-shelf model. We actually fine-tune the model for real comments. But still, even with a fine-tuned model, it's an AI draft. So it will be a good draft. I encourage you just to try and see. Probably the draft that we will produce will be far better that you have seen. I don't want to humble brag, but we do spend a lot of effort on this.
Try it and see.
Try it and see. But still,
And nothing. And
the
important thing is nothing is going to get posted without your approval.
Yeah.
So it's not full auto. Which
And
is
that's the main part. That's the main part, because I'm using my tool myself, and I am, an AI tool founder. So everybody is looking at my comments with a magnifying glass. I am trying to be, very authentic in my comments.
Cool.
So I correct like maybe 50% of my comments. So I correct half of them. But those corrections are just small ones. Because if you do commenting at scale, if you do like 50 comments per day on a certain topics, like say, I listen to some topics like cold outbound, social selling, nurturing, things like that on LinkedIn. I have 50 posts for the day. more often than not, my comments, my answers are repeating the same narrative because there are not a lot of narratives that you can give out. This narrative is in my knowledge base, is in my insights database in Extrovert, and I have a pretty good draft. Maybe I do some corrections here and there. I don't like this phrase. I want to rephrase this part, but it's just takes me 30 seconds instead of 4 minutes or 5 minutes
Cool.
reading the post and
Cool. And
writing.
all like here, I see one in the comments. Best tip I found: make spelling mistakes on purpose, because AI doesn't make spelling mistakes, right? So
Yeah.
there are a lot of cool things, and I think like probably people are going to be playing around with both AimFox and Extrovert after this. Oleg, what do you have in store for people that are that have attended this event and that have not tried Extrovert yet?
Yeah. So happy to share 50% discount for the first month. And we'll share the promo code after the event, the link via the email. So everybody will receive it on Luma. And yeah, please do.
Or you can even, if you have it, you can even share it here in the chat and people can grab it here from the chat.
Yeah, sure. I just need a minute. If you
Yeah,
can
and
give
then
me a minute.
while you're pulling that up, I'll tell you from the AimFox side, if you're not using AimFox yet, on like for everybody, we give a 7-day free trial to try the tool, and that's accessible to everybody. People that are here on this webinar, they are going to get a 30-day free trial, so 3-week extension on their free trial, and that gives you a lot of time to kind of like see the value. Just make sure you fill out the form, the type form that Andre just shared in the chat, because we need you to submit through that so that our team can approve the extra time. And so I'm just going to pull up one more question I see here. Hervey, how do you set apart AimFox with HeyReach? So what is the difference between AimFox and HeyReach? So, well, we do things in a similar concept, except what I would say that sets AimFox apart. The big thing is that we are built more for scale. So meaning that we also provide our users the option to rent LinkedIn profiles that they can use to scale their outbound campaigns. So just how you would rent mailboxes to scale your cold emailing, the same methodology applies on AimFox for LinkedIn. Of course, you can still use your own LinkedIn profiles. And then we also have built in some native functionalities, such as native sales navigator integration that is big, that no other tool has on the market. So basically, we let you distribute leads you get from Sales Navigator to non-Sales Navigator profiles for outreach. So it's like an awesome way to weaponize your outreach. And then basically, just a lot of other tools, not only comparisons, not only linked to HeyReach, but to many other tools. We take great pride in what we built. We have a team building behind it, so we are very happy with the feature set that we provide. Yeah, and Oleg just is sending the link.
Pasted the link and please use it to get 50% off the first month. We also have the trial. It's 10 days free trial. So please go ahead and try it. We also work with agencies, and we do have agency partnerships. So if you are an agency, please do reach out. We have the button on the website. And yeah.
And I'll just pull up one more question I see from Hervey. How are you different from the gray market of profile rental sellers? Well, yeah. So one of the reasons why we decided to build out this in-house, this whole like profile warm up infrastructure is because we saw that like the market is a mess. You get accounts, these accounts get banned, you need to shift them between tools, very unreliable suppliers. So we are, I mean, you can read our reviews online. Our reputation is very public. And when we deliver something, we make sure we deliver the best possible quality we can. So how we differentiate from other rental providers is you're going to actually get what you paid for, and your that account is almost never going to get banned. When it does happen, in the 5 to 10% cases, we replace it automatically, and everything. There's just a lot less friction because everything is built into AimFox. So you don't have to like get them from here, then import them here, then use this. No, everything is just simple to manage, and it just works. You're welcome. Cool. Let me see if I have okay, let's do one more question here. Olivier, what's on the roadmap for Go Extrovert? See comment of Yuval. Okay, so what's on the roadmap? Let's
Yeah,
hear
it's
it.
it's a lot of things, to be honest, on the roadmap. The one big thing that we will be focusing on this the first half of the year is integrations and integration with AimFox as well. And the other thing that we will ship like next week or something. I don't have a good name for it. The best name I could come up with is vibe commenting or vibe prospecting. So basically, what you will be able to do is you have a draft of your comment, but you wanted to change it for a little bit. You have yeah, you will have a microphone button like you do in WhisperFlow or other dictation apps, but it will be not just dictation. It will not just transcribe your text. You can just steer the model. You can just say, "Oh, go for the long comment and underline my take about, say what I think about outbound." And it will pull out your data from your knowledge base. It will do the thing that you basically asked with your voice.
Nice.
So this part we will ship next week.
Nice. Awesome. Will there be a recording? Yes. Well, we will post it on our YouTube channel and you will be able to access it. That will be available from tomorrow. And Oleg would probably do the same on his part. And how much time does it take to require to use the tool daily? As Oleg said, 15 minutes. And yeah, I mean, we still have, okay, well, let's grab one more from Yuval. One idea that relates is to provide feedback on edits. Let's say I change draft, give me feedback on whether it's a good comment using guidelines, etc. Yeah, I think you're getting good feedback here,
That's a
and I
good
think you're
feedback.
keeping
That's a good
that.
feedback.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
you all.
Guys, both me and Oleg, we are passionate about the tools that we're building. Talk to us, leave feedback, reach out to us, never hesitate, and make sure to tune in for our next webinar coming out next week. And next week we have Abdul from Master Inbox. So Master Inbox is a master inbox where you can basically sync your replies from your emailing sequencers and from your LinkedIn outreach tools. So AimFox plus Instantly, AimFox plus Smart Lead, all of that stuff in one place. So join us when we talk to Abdul next week. And for now, Oleg, thank you so much for hopping on and for having this interesting conversation. And looking forward to seeing you develop further.
Thank you, Alex. It was a pleasure. Thanks a lot for everybody who joined. And I also wanted to say that I did have I did have luck to meet Abdul as well, and he's a great founder. So be sure to join the webinar next week. I'm sure it will be awesome. Thanks a lot, everybody. It was a big pleasure for me. Have a great rest
Thank you,
of the week.
everybody. Thank you. Have an
Thanks.
awesome week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you, everybody.